I'm Tom Rioch, promoting successful business experts, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from London, England, Jake Smolarek, the life and business coach for winners, transforming you into extraordinary you. So Jake, how to start a business today with no money and no experience?
Hi, Tom. Thank you very much for having me. You see that this is a very good question because a lot of people are actually struggling with that, and the thing is, the idea is not a problem. There's the thing called in business that we called it ideation, which means you're coming up with the list of different ideas for your business. Ideally, you would like to have some idea, maybe a little bit of experience about those ideas, but the process is very simple. Write down 10, 20, hopefully maybe even 30, 40, 50 ideas, business ideas, because the first 10 ideas are easy. The next 10, so 20, a little bit harder. Then another 10 and another 10, so coming up to 30, 40, 50 ideas is actually not that easy. But more often than not, the idea number 21 and the idea number 47 combined could be an excellent idea. It could be the one to go. Right. And the thing is, once you come up with 50 ideas, then you will try to deselect ones. So you go from 50 to 40, and then you remove another 10. So you go from 40 to 30, and then 20, then 10. Then from those 10, you choose 3, and from those 3, you choose 1, and then you go ahead with it. You see,
and to your point, you don't have to have 50 ideas in one day or 1 hour.
No, you don't
it's
have
as you have the ideas, just jot them down.
100%. It can take you an hour, it can take you a week. It's all up to you. But the thing is, you have to actually sit down and write it down. When people say like, "Oh, I have ideas in my head," unfortunately, we're living in such a great times that it's very easy to start a business, but at the same time, it's very easy to be distracted. We are bombarded with like different advertisement everywhere, especially like I live in London. So you go outside and you see adverts everywhere. It's so easy to be distracted.
But that also that gives you ideas.
That's true. But sometimes if you have too many ideas, if you have too many distractions, it's very difficult to focus. So
I agree, because most of my ideas some of them come. Every morning I go to the gym and work out. And actually it's, on the treadmill or doing things that I have ideas. And that's really when my mind seems to be working better. And then that's what I do. I just come back here to my home studio and jot them down or look something up. But it's an ongoing process.
It is. But in this world, we have something called FOMO, the fears of missing out. And a lot of people get into that trap that like, oh my God, I don't want to leave the money on the table. But the truth is, you will leave money on the table because you cannot execute every single idea. You cannot, start every single business. Start with one. That's why I always say, come up with a list of ideas, then choose one, and then go ahead with it. This is exactly.
And then what about the money? You say you don't want to leave the money on the table, but if I have a table and I don't have money?
Well, the thing is, you don't need money at the beginning. When I started my first business, it was construction business in London, UK. I didn't have any money. I was 20 years old and I had a big dream and no money. And I met a mentor who told me, start a construction business because you can make really good money in construction. And I said like, yeah, but I know nothing about construction. And he said those magical words. He said, don't create yourself a job, create a system. The business is a system. Find other people who will do the job. You will be like a manager. You will be like the guy who oversees everything. And that's exactly what I did. In the next week, I created a very crap website, but it was a website, right? It was a live website. In the next week, so in 2 weeks' time, I found my first customer. And in the next 6 weeks, I earned I can't remember, I think it was like £2,000, without doing any work myself. Because I didn't know anything about construction.
But having your system and creating the process.
Correct. That's correct.
And that's back to any ideas. So we say once you pick that one of 50 ideas, is just decide, how's the process and what the system's going to be.
Just choose one. You see, I always explain to people the first business will probably fail. I was lucky. Actually, my first business didn't fail in the first few years, and then it failed like really badly in 2007-8 during the big crash,
the big recession,
and I lost
right?
everything. That's it. But then I rebuilt it in the next 6 months, right?
But that wasn't your problem with the system. It was just a larger system was more problematic.
That's it. But you have to focus. You have to choose one idea. And some people say like, yeah, but I don't know which one. It doesn't really matter. The first business doesn't matter because you're learning the skills. And almost every business works exactly the same. The fundamentals are the same. You have to learn how to sell. You have to learn how to create a brand. You have to learn how to do marketing, and basically you have to learn how to generate leads. Every business is all about lead generation.
Right. And that's part of the brand. So then being that and having that ability. So what you're saying is also never throw away any idea.
No. That's, I always say, write them down. Journal is something amazing to have. Have a journal. I've been journaling for over 18 years now.
Right.
And write down those ideas because you never know where you can use that idea. And don't worry, because ideas are free. We all have ideas. It's the execution that is very important.
Well, they're free, but they're highly valuable.
They can be highly valuable, but at the same time, an idea without any execution is worth nothing.
It's something on a piece of paper.
100%. We all have, hundreds of ideas, but if we don't act on an idea, it's worth nothing.
Well, I see on your LinkedIn profile, it's the life and business coach for winners. So you're actually helping people win. You don't start winning from day one. So that's part of your process. Is the transforming you into extraordinary you, and that you is anybody.
When people come to me, a lot of my customers, they already winning in life. But it's not about winning now, having that winning attitude that I'm not giving up. I'm like, for example, when you ask, there's another way to start a business. Not even start a business, acquire a business without any money.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there. We call them baby boomers. They 65 plus. Some of them they 70 years old plus, and they have great businesses, but they tired. Their children, they do not want to take over the business because more often than not, those businesses are not sexy businesses.
Well, that's a story here in Brazil. Same thing. That's everywhere. I agree with you. Yeah.
Everywhere in the world. It doesn't matter if you're in Brazil, US, UK, Poland, Czech, everywhere. Someone having a plumbing business or a steel business. Those are not sexy businesses, but most people do not understand that not sexy businesses equals a lot of money.
That's true.
Good profits. And we all, young people, they all want to be influencers on Instagram.
Right.
But unfortunately, only a very few people making money from Instagram.
That's true. Well, anyway, Jake, how can our listeners find you to help you help themselves?
It's very simple. You can go to my website, jakesmolarek.com, or you can just simply Google me, Jake Smolarek, and you will find all the links, all my websites, all my socials and everything.
Very good. Well, thanks for being here and sharing with us.
Thank you very much for having me today.
And for our listeners, it is Jake Smolarek. It's Jake, the last name Smolarek. Smolarek. And you'll find him at jakesmolarek.com on LinkedIn and TikTok. Cafe Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Cafe and Networking Podcast.